You have been drifting wrong this whole time, and that's why you're crashing into corners left, right, and center. There is a secret drift mechanic hidden in CDT that barely anyone knows, and once you use it, you'll be able to dominate every corner. This isn't just a settings tweak or a new car, it's a full strategy, and by the end of this video, you will be drifting like a pro. And the craziest part is it works with almost any car, but only if you know how. Let me show you. Before I get into this, make sure you are subscribed. But sit back and relax and learn how to drift for the next 8 minutes. Hello people. Oh my god, what is going on around here? I've joined the most cooked server possible. Oh my god, can you stop backing it up into me, boss? I'm trying to just walk. Mate, get off. Hello people, welcome back to CDT. Now, today I'm going to be showing you a secret feature which is going to give you an entire strategy which you can use to drift in Car Dealership Tycoon. Drifting in this, oh my god, drifting in this game is so difficult. In fact, I think it's one of the hardest games to drift in. But today I'm going to give you a strategy which I believe works with most cars. So, let's get into this. Stop grabbing him. Yeah, you tell him, mate. So I'm going to start off by showing you guys what I believe are some common mistakes in drifting, common assumptions, and why players just can't drift, basically. So what most people assume drifting in CDC is like is just holding a letter on your keyboard and holding D just like that. That is really not how it works. There is much more to that. Lots of players also don't know the map. Now that is a really big issue. You need to know where all the roads are basically in the map, and then you can go on and do some drifts. Like if I just hold a letter and space, that is not going to get me a drift. Drifting is much more complicated than that, and to be honest, I used to crash every single corner until I learned this sort of trick. Until I learned how to do shenanigans like this, do a 360, take it round here, beautiful stuff. Before I learned how to do that, I was crashing into every corner. So I'm going to show you the tricks that I use to drift and create those amazing drift shorts which you see every day. It has just turned night, which is not very helpful. Oh my god, there's a bloody pumpkin. Why are you orange? Why on earth are you orange? So let me go on to the trick that I like to use a lot of the time. So there is one mechanic which you can use, which is not really a mechanic, it's more just common sense. Don't just hold space and the letter. So this is what you look like before. Right, that is just awful. The trick is, now I do have more tricks to show you later in this video, but the main trick I want to show you is the fact that if you're let's say you're trying to drift right on this corner in front of me, you don't just want to hold D and space. What you want to do is you want to tap A and D, but you want to tap D more than A. Let me show you. Let's get a bit of speed here, and what I want to do is I want to tap it slightly, and then that'll get me to counter steer, and then I can just, you know, enter the flow state and just keep going. You want to tap A and D, but you want to tap the letter, which is more in the direction you want to go. So if I wanted to drift left here, tap A and D, like I'm doing right now. You can see on my wheels that I would type A more than D if I'm trying to turn left. Look at that, beautiful stuff. And you also want to sort of spam the handbrake as you're doing this. It's probably a little bit harder to do on phone, but you'll get used to it. So before I was kind of just drifting like that, literally nothing to it, nothing going my way. But if I apply this trick, you know, you can do drifts like this, and then you can just, you can basically keep control of the car basically. 360, that was alright, you know.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So now I'm going to break down for you the basics of what you want. Look, this guy is gassed at the drift. You guys can get compliments like this if you stick to the end of this video. I'm telling you that right now. So I'm going to start you off with the basics on simply like the cars and the setup that you want to use when you're drifting. So you know about the controls, WASD and space. The amount you want to spam will depend on the car you're using. The car I'm using is kind of offset. But let me show you guys the mechanics that I use. As you can see, this M3 is tuned quite a lot. So what I've done is I've kind of like tweaked this to my liking, but here are the modifications that I'm using for all of the camber and the ride height and stuff. Springs, I've got extra low springs. Drivetrain is rear wheel drive, as you can imagine, and I've basically got performance upgrades to the max. Race engine, race supercharger, race brakes. I've also got spiked tires on this thing. That is because spiked tires have the least grip out of all of them, and that just kind of helps you with drifting, you know. So yeah, that's the setup I've got. Now you can kind of do this with most cars. One tip that I would suggest is if you type pro into there, okay, why have I got so many bloody Priuses. Let's scroll down. All of the cars which have the word pro in front of them are mostly decent drift cars. They're sort of like made for drifting from when they were up. For example, this Supra I use a decent amount for drifting. It's an alright car, you know, nothing too crazy is going to be going on with this car. But I like to use that M3, but you can really choose any car that you want. To be honest, the way the chassis is in this game, you can basically drift with most cars over around like this kind of price point. Anything above like $200,000, one way or another you can drift it. But yeah, to be honest, I would recommend you find a car that you like, find a car which you're good at drifting at, and just stick to that car. That's why you see me using this M3. I can kind of pull off any corner pretty decently without many problems. So I would suggest you get used to one car and stick with that. So now I'm going to go on to the main strategy tricks which I want to show you. So what speed do you want to enter a drift at basically? Is you want to enter a drift in minimum gear 2. So look at the bottom there. Preferably you want to be gear 3 or 4 if you're trying to drift a long distance. So if you've got enough speed, you can pull off stunts like this. You can go around here. I did that way too early, but we won't talk about that. This is a new part of the map. In terms of timing, it depends on the speed you're going and the length of the drift that you want to do. At the end, I'm going to show you a trick which all of the pros use to make sure they can meet any corner perfectly. In terms of the angle, if you're turning 90 degrees like that, you kind of want to turn like this much maximum. You don't want to turn too little because then you'll crash into the building. And if you turn too much, you just won't make the drift and you'll flip back round. You want to get it perfectly, a little over angle, just like that, nothing too crazy. And if you're trying to drift on a bend, what you want to do is drift at the angle of the bend. Nothing too crazy, like just like this. Beautiful stuff. Ooh, that was close. And the trick that I was mentioning earlier that a lot of pros use to make sure they can meet any corner perfectly is they can sort of delay their drift. Let's say, to be honest, right, I'm decent at drifting, but I'll make mistakes every now and then. Let's say I start a drift too early. Let's say I start this drift here. What I can do is I can sort of spam A and D to sort of keep the drift going, but not cancel the drift, if you get what I mean. So watch this. Take this corner right here. I'm going to start drifting here. Oh no, I've drifted too early. I can hold the drift by holding the space bar. It's important that you can make sure you can make any distance with the drift. That way you can just get into this flow state of just not having to worry about, oh, when do I drift, when do I drift. You can just keep on swimming, keep on swimming, keep on swimming, keep on swimming, just like that. And then if you know the roads, you can kind of just go drift to drift. Just keep drifting around. Remember, everything I'm saying in this video does take practice. I'm gonna teach you guys now because you've done well, you've stuck to the end, you clearly want to know how to drift. Let me show you some expert techniques. I'm gonna go back to the city for this. I'm gonna now teach you how to do a 360 drift. It's gonna be kind of hard, you're not gonna get it the first time. This probably took me a couple months to master, so you're probably not gonna master it in a couple minutes. It'll probably take a bit more practice. But I'm gonna show you the basics of how to do a 360 drift. Here, let me try that with this corner, kinda like this. Yeah, just like that. Beautiful stuff. Bomba clutch. So I'm going to quickly find a really long straight. I think over here I'll just use. So let's forget about the fact that you need to turn. Let me show you how to do the 360 part of the drift. So for these drifts, you want to have a lot of speed. I'm talking like 150 miles an hour plus. You then want to hold W and A to turn one way and then hold S like that. Practice that. Jump in the game right now while you're watching this video and practice this right now. Whichever direction you want to turn, you turn that way first. So for example, if I wanted to turn right, I would do W and D to turn that way and then hold S. If I'm turning left, I will do W and A to turn left and then hold S. Practice that skill now. Do a 180 turn, so just turn the other way and then hold S to keep going. And if you have enough speed, what you can do is you can do that, hold S and then hold the other direction to go like that and then counter it once you're done. Let it overturn a little bit and then counter the turn to sort of finish off the drift. Let me show you. So let's try a 360 here. This will be pretty easy because I've done this turn like 100 billion times. You guys can kind of get the mechanic of it. If it's kind of hurting your brain, don't worry. Once you master it, you will be able to drift like there's no tomorrow. If you guys want to see me try drift your car build, comment your car build down below and I will try and drift with that car. If this helped, wait till you see me drift with other people's cars. Then you'll see how good of a drifter I am. But yeah, I hope this... Oh my god, what the hell? There's just a... Huh? Why is there just a massive whale here? But yeah, I hope this tutorial helped. Comment down below if you've been able to learn how to drift. And wait till you see me drift with other people's cars. Comment down below any drift tricks that you have. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe and come here, you stupid whale. Bye.